Mic check, mic check, mic check. Let's let the people fall in, climb in. Fall in and climb in. All praises. Fall in and climb in. Let's add something else here. Image. Add source. Let's put add source. No. Desktop. Let's try this. All right, y'all. First and foremost, let's give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. And we do so by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai for another W for the Most High. All praises, all praises. What's going on, everybody? We got a lot to talk about. Let me share this. We got a lot to talk about. The debate was fire. The debate was absolute utter destruction, Deacon destruction mode. All praises. Let me get this shared. Let's get this shared. I'm gonna tune you guys. I'm gonna explain to you guys what happened. If you were there, put a 1 in the chat. If you weren't, it's okay. We're gonna talk about it today. Um, bear with me. Okay, brother Jared was there. Tazamar was there. All praises. Man, Genesis. Genesis. Did brother Ron Dalton finally stop being a Negro only Israelite because he was teaching that for a long time? I never heard him say he was a Negro only Israelite. Um, I actually heard him say some of the indigenous people over here were actually Israelites, right? It's all good, y'all. We're gonna talk about it today. Let me just share this in a few places. Make sure y'all are liking and sharing, and we're gonna go through some of the slides, some of the presentation. Right, we're gonna go through some of the slides and some of the presentation, talk about some of his rebuttal points, and in 3 weeks from today, we had a deal. We kind of contracted a deal that I would get to put the footage of the debate on my YouTube channel. But that's going to be 3 weeks from now. So just wait patiently, y'all, and you guys will get a chance to see. It was great, man. It was awesome. It was great. It was awesome. Man, the Most High is good. I want to just talk a little bit about it. So in the debate, I got to go first. He says the Holy Land is in sub-Saharan Africa. Right? He says the Holy Land is in sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah, he said the Holy Land is in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, this is a big ideology lately. Because we don't trust the white man. And I get it. We don't trust the white man, but it's not just the white man, we don't trust the Gentiles. But that should not make you, what's the word I'm looking for? Make you oblivious to facts, concrete empirical evidence. I understand they have covered up a lot of things. A lot of things are a conspiracy. We understand that. But there's 3 ways to prove that something is true. And these 3 things go together: archaeology, history, and prophecy. Yes, common sense deficiency. So, I went first, and that's exactly what I did. I'm going to pull up some of my presentation here. Let's pull up some of my presentation. And this was so good, y'all. So out of the 3 debates that I had lined up, Pastor Reggie, Rabbi Eduardo, and also this one with Brother Ron Dalton from Hebrews to Negroes, I enjoyed this one the most because it was just so put together. It was so well put together, my presentation. It was 3 rounds. Round 1, I was all archaeology. Round 2, I was all history. Round 3, it was all prophecy. So it was just more structure, more ordered, more easily to understand. And the brother, it got to a point where he was debating, are the Bantu people Israelites? Because remember, his point was, and you guys didn't catch this, I did, but it still didn't matter. He's saying that if the Bantu people are the Israelites, then wherever their land is Israel. So I said, hold on a second. Aren't we Israelites? That means America is Israel. You see where that logic gets you? It doesn't get you in an academic field, I'll tell you that. So I'm gonna pull up something real quick. I'll pull up my presentation just to show y'all a little bit, and then show y'all how I was coming, man. I was coming through the spirit and power of the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashim Mashiach Yahushai. And when we're able to play this on my YouTube in a few weeks here, you guys are gonna enjoy it. And you know, Brother Ron Dalton, he's a good formidable opponent. He's a good formidable opponent, and definitely a good name to have on the resume. Nevertheless, you know, the Most High had to take him out. The Most High had to prevail and get the W. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. All praise.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas.
Yeah, it was over 100 people in there, and you know, I could have promoted it more. I'm not gonna lie, I could have promoted it more, but I was so busy with Pastor Reggie, then Rabbi Eduardo, and then, you know, most of you may not know, I have another child on the way, a beautiful daughter on the way. I'm building up a camp at the same time. Those of you who don't know that I'm not with Sakari anymore, we have Genesis Israelites, all praises and much love to Sakari and all the camps. But I'm trying to build, actually not trying, but building these brothers up, getting ready to let a legion loose through the spirit and power of the Most High God. 206 takeover, that's right. James Flames. Brother Zion was in there. All praise to my brother Zion. He says, it wasn't even close. Ron played his part in the awakening through the Most High, but he needs to let our prophets take it from here. That I like that comment. He played a major part with Hebrews to Negroes and a major part with his book. I have the book. I still support the brother. See, this was a good debate where he's not going to be my enemy afterwards. You understand that? He's not going to be my enemy afterwards. It was very tasteful, very classy, very respectful, very cordial. A pressure was applied, don't get me wrong, but there's a way you do it to where we're texting right now, trying to start talking about starting a debate league and just kind of getting our own network instead of having to give YouTube and the Jewish community all of our money. We didn't leave this debate like, man, even though I felt like I did him so bad that I'm surprised he still loves me. But it's a way that these debates need to be had so that afterwards it's still love. All praises, right? Genesis Toronto in the building. Shalom, King. You should have gave away a couple free tickets to the debate. Yeah, but it was his platform, and that's why I was saying, if it was up to me, everything would have been for the free 99. But I have to make sacrifices in order to get certain people into the ring. I got to bend toward their will until I get, on that level. And I feel like as far as popularity, Ron Dalton is way bigger than me as far as popularity goes. As far as like Israelites in the faith and the truth, I may have a bigger name, but outside, he's got, Kyrie Irving shared his book. Candace Owens just was talking about his book. So now we have a good story behind, this debate, but much love to the brother. He's a man of his word. We had a deal, he's coming through. So all praises. He's definitely trustworthy. I can say that. All praise to the Most High. So I want to share my screen just to kind of talk about my presentation and some of his rebuttals without giving out too much until it comes out on the YouTube scene. So I want to share my screen here. Okay. What in the world? Okay, here we go. All right. And if there's any of you in the chat who believe that the Holy Land is in sub-Saharan Africa, you can come on here and we can talk about it as well. We can have a discussion about it. You could take a look at some of these slides and, deal with some of the information. So like I said, y'all, my round one was archaeology. Archaeology proves that Israel is in the Middle East. So I went through certain archaeological findings that were around the land that we say Israel is today, right? I won't go through all of them, but I went through the Tel Arad Temple. We talked about the Tel Arad Temple. This was an actual dagger, the Tel Arad Temple. We went to the Joshua Great Witness Stone. Absolute dagger, right? These are sites where the Bible says something. These are cities over there where we believe the land of Israel is and being occupied by the enemy. These are sites that talk about cities that talk about events, and you can corroborate it with the Bible. You can't get around that, right? So, in some of we talked about the Ketuvim scrolls. So in some of my presentation, this was his rebuttal to the archaeology, right? Let me show one more thing before I tell you his rebuttal. The Moabite stone, no, this is the Merneptah Stela. The Merneptah Stela talks about the invasion of the Egyptians when they invaded Israel, right? The Lachish reliefs talk about the Assyrians invading Israel. So let me tell you guys my angle. My angle was it's not just about them being found in the place where we say Israel is, but it's what these artifacts are saying. Merneptah Stela says the Egyptians invaded Israel. There's not a stitch of evidence that says the Egyptians invaded sub-Saharan Africa. The Lachish reliefs say the Assyrians invaded Israel. There's not a stitch of evidence that say the Assyrians invaded sub-Saharan Africa. I asked him to deal with that, and you know what he said, everybody? He said, well, those artifacts weren't found in Israel. They were found elsewhere. And he's right on some of them. It's not about where they were found, though. It's about what they say. Then he says, well, you know, how you know that they couldn't have dug them up somewhere, put them in a backpack, then brought them to Israel and say that they were found in Israel. Let's say that happened. I don't give a damn. It's what the archaeology says. It says Egyptians and Assyrians invaded Israel, but you can't find one stitch of evidence, history or archaeology, to prove that the Egyptians and Assyrians invaded sub-Saharan Africa. It was over in the first round. Yeah, the Jansport. That's what I said. Bro's talking about the Jansport backpacks. This was like a Jansport backpack conspiracy theory. You know, the white man got a bunch of backpacks and, you know, let's get a Jansport deal. We're going to go find these and unearth these artifacts. We're going to take them to Israel. Right? But one thing he did not touch on through the whole debate, there was a few things. He didn't speak to the fact that the archaeology says invasions by these people groups were happening to Israel, which can't be proven to happen in sub-Saharan Africa. But he didn't touch at all, everybody, the Tel Arad Temple. That might have been the ultimate dagger. Because, as I told him, why didn't he speak on the Tel Arad Temple? 4 helicopters didn't, you know, put hooks on each corner of the foundation of this temple and then fly it to Israel. And then the mountain that it's on, they just took that mountain from somewhere and then, come on, brother. This was all coulda, woulda, shoulda. So that's why in my opening round, I said, we need empirical data. We need empirical data, not circumstantial pseudo rhetoric or anything like that. We need empirical evidence. And he did not provide. He mentioned, and I don't know why he did this. He said that just because we were using the word synagogue, and I don't want to misrepresent him, I got to rewatch it. He said, just because we were using the word synagogue, that shows that white Greeks were writing our literature. Now, if I'm misrepresenting that, please forgive me, but that's what I took from that point of contention. Maybe he forgot that we were Hellenized, and there's out of all the places we were scattered in antiquity, the most populated place of the Israelites were in Alexander, Egypt, where Greek culture and the Greek language was prominent. We wrote Greek, we spoke Greek, we worshiped Greek deities, we were Hellenized. I don't understand what point he was even making with that, because he said, you know, the Gentile. What else? So he asked me, no. On top of the archaeology, we matched the archaeology with history. Proper hermeneutics. We matched the archaeology with history. What does that mean? If the archaeology says Oh, I don't care, man. If the archaeology says the Assyrians invaded and the Egyptians invaded and the Babylonians invaded and the Persians invaded and the Greeks invaded and the Romans invaded, we should be able to find that in the Bible. So that's what we did. We went to the Bible to show how the Israelites were conquered by the Persians. We went to the Bible to show the Israelites were conquered by the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Egyptians. And remember, y'all, when you read Jeremiah and Hosea, the Egyptians were still subjugating us on and off, even after the Exodus, right? So we got the history agreeing with the artifacts. Where in the hell can we find the least grain of evidence to prove that these people conquered and invaded sub-Saharan Africa? So when it was time for my Q&A, when it was time for the hot seat, since he was running, because in a round, here's how debates work. In the round, if I went first, he was supposed to rebut some of what I was saying very quickly and then go into his presentation. Then I debunk or rebut what he's saying and then go into my presentation. So since he was not dealing head on with the information, I was almost past anxious to sit him on the hot seat and ask him these questions directly. So, he said to me that I was using Gentile sources. Gentile sources. Oh, he's not using anything but Gentile sources. And I used Herodotus. Herodotus is known as the father of history. Herodotus said in between Phoenicia and Egypt lies the land of Israel. He wrote this about 450 BC. Put a pin in that. Because on the hot seat, I asked him, when did the white man do this cover up? When did he switch Israel from sub-Saharan Africa and put it in the Middle East? When did the switch up? When did the cover up? When did the conspiracy happen? You know what he told me, everybody? Starting with the Greeks. Now, who in the chat is an up-and-coming scholar and smart enough to know how that conflicts with Herodotus? How his assertion and claim that the Greeks covered it up when they came into power conflicts with the father of history, Herodotus? Now, somebody tell me who was not in the debate. Somebody tell me who was not in the debate. One of you up and coming scholars, tell me tell me how we could utilize that to confound him. Gregory Harris. There you go. Gregory Harris. Herodotus was over a century. Herodotus's works were over a century prior to Alexander and the Greeks coming into power. That is the point. So that's what I asked him on the hot seat. If the cover-up happened in 330 BC, 300 BC, why do we have Herodotus pre-existing the Greeks saying that Israel is between Phoenicia and Egypt, also called the land of Palestine?
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. Certified. Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
That rapid fire exchange was crazy. Yeah, in about a few weeks, me and him, we brokered a deal for me to get the content in a few weeks, and I can put it out for the free 99. And everybody needs to see this. This is undeniable, overwhelming evidence that the land of Israel is in the so-called Middle East being occupied by the Gentiles, namely the Edomites, who are the so-called white man. After this debate, it's over. After this debate, you can't say Israel's in America. You can't say Israel is in sub-Saharan Africa. You can't say Israel's in Antarctica. You cannot say Israel is in damn the aboriginals of Australia. Israel is where they say it is today, but it's not limited to modern day Israel, because remember, it's from the Nile to the Euphrates, that area. We talked about Philo, the Hebrew Israelite historian Philo, where he said the Israel was at. We talked about the Hebrew Israelite Josephus, where he said Israel was at. He said, oh, well, you're using the Greeks. You're using the Greeks. Then he goes and uses Herodotus. Then he goes and uses a white lady that did a scientific study on some tribe of Bantu people. Then he had the nerve to talk about the Greek Septuagint mentioning giraffes. Giraffes are only indigenous to Africa. As if, for one, they can't be shipped. 1 Kings 10 and 22 said we were coming to America and getting all kind of animals and minerals and bringing them back to the land. But that's not what it was saying in the Greek Septuagint. It was talking about unclean meats and clean meats that you can eat, whether in the live or out the live. Brother David Burney says, you gave Ron Dalton the beat down. Peace to Ron, let him heal up. You know what I mean? And maybe we could run it back on a different topic. During the cross-examination, some of the questions I'm asking, and also in my round 3 when we're dealing with the prophecies, the Bible says, this is why I have a problem with this Bantu people. Are people scattered everywhere? Yes. But to say that majority of the Israelites on the earth are the Bantu people is directly against God. They're not in captivity, their enemies don't have their land, and they're not in Babylon. Ron Dalton agreed on the debate that America is Babylon. The Bible says most of the Israelites will be in Babylon, in captivity, in exile, and their enemies would have their land. So how in the hell is it in sub-Saharan Africa and all them Bantu people are Israelites? Genesis. It's going against God. Who remembers in the debate, they kept saying, him and his team, him and his supporters kept saying, Deacon's reading too much Bible. Oh man, he's going to the Bible again? Man, he needs to stop focusing on the Bible. Those comments were being said. So in the debate, I asked him, this was so funny. I'm only going to give you guys a few. In the Bible, it talks about Elijah calling the bear to kill 42 kids. Everybody understand that? And this is why everybody should be in the Genesis Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics. Now, the she-bears, the bears, they're not native to Africa. They're not even in Africa. So he did the worst blunder of the debate by saying, yes, there was a bear in Africa. He said there was a bear in Africa. And the name of the bear that he said was Ogreotherium africanum. Let's pull that up so you guys can see. This was probably the biggest blunder of the discussion. This was probably the biggest blunder of the discussion, y'all. At some point, you start feeling bad. Let me share my screen. So because the Bible says there were bears in Israel, he has to substantiate that there's bears in Africa, whether native or just there, and there's not. So when you go to, this is the bear he's talking about. Go to my co-pilot. Okay. Now let me see if y'all can see this. Okay. Now look at this. This is when I started feeling bad and taking it easy. The name of the bear that he presented was Ogreotherium africanum. Listen close, everybody. Was a large, extinct bear species that lived in Africa from approximately 11.6 to 2.5 million years ago. Prehistoric dinosaur type deal. So guess what I asked him, everybody? And this is when I had to take it easy, man. I didn't want to. It was almost a sin how I was doing this, man, as far as the beatdown goes. He must not have known when science says this bear existed. Yeah, the dino bear. So I asked Ron Dalton, my first question, let me show you guys how to walk a nigga down. My first question on the hot seat was, hey, Ron, how old is the world? And he's like, man, what the hell does this have to do with the debate? Right? So he's like, oh, well, some say 6,000 to 8,000. And then I said, okay, is that what you say? And he's like, yeah, I'll go with 8,000. I said, Brother Ron.
Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watching.
Brother Ron, the bear that you said was indigenous or lived in Africa existed 2.4 million years before you said the world began.
Beat him down, beat you down. Who else wants some?
It wasn't a debate. That's right, Brother Hassad. It wasn't a debate. It was a wash. It was a wash.
Shut your black mouth.
We're not smoking on Ron Dalton tonight. We want to be nice. We're not smoking on Ron Dalton. He's not in the pack. All right. He's not in a pack. Okay. But when he said that, I said,
you liar.
What in the world are we saying here? You're saying You prove that you're trying to prove that the Bible, because the Bible talks about bears in Israel. You believe that in sub-Saharan Africa is Israel, so you're trying to find bears that live there. And then he said the Nandi bear. Then on another video, not this debate, because I told him, I said, I heard you mention the bear. Somebody told me that you had a ring on God. I'm ready to double the wage. No, I told him in the middle of my round, I said, somebody told me that you have an argument about the bear topic. And I hope you say that again, because you're going to get hit with a right hand. So I think that he tried to come with a new route that I never heard before, which is the agriotherium, because in prior videos, he went to the Nandi bear. Now watch this. I don't give a damn if you go to Teddy Ruxpin, Freaky Bear, right? Yeah, we had a nigga named Freaky Bear from my hood. I don't care if you go to Teddy Ruxpin, Freaky Bear. You're not finding no bears native to Africa or Roman Africa. So, yeah, Yogi Bear, Mark from Jellystone Park, Smokey Bear. I don't give a damn. Bear from, was that Bear from Minister Society, or was that Bear in Minister Society, or was that Bear in South Central? Right? Now look, Mike 298, the Water King, he said, I saw several stop the fight knockouts. History, archaeology, and prophecy, real documentation and scholarship. All praise to the Most High. Right? Jay Griff. Oh man, I would love to talk to T.O. Ministries. Anybody can. I'm the can man, and anybody can get it. But honestly, y'all, I need a break, man. I need a break. That was 3 high-profile back-to-back debates, and I need a break. Anything else is going to Hassad for, some weeks. I'll say some weeks. But look at this, y'all. In other videos, he says the Nandi bear. Yes, in a few weeks, we worked it out contractually, where I can get the footage on my YouTube for free. And in a few weeks, all praise to the Most High. So, and then, just my presentation alone, and this isn't even pride, you guys will be able to just use that when people make these arguments. So you'll see that in a few weeks in full. So like I said, in other videos, for him to try to prove that there's bears in Africa, he mentioned the Nandi bear. Nandi, right? With this Nandi bear, I'm so glad he didn't go there, but I really wish he should have. He should have went here, because either way, it's still good. With the Nandi bear is a legendary creature in East African folklore. Hello? Hey, Sons of Prophet, the Water King, greatly appreciate you. Sons of the Prophet's World, greatly appreciate you supporting the ministry. Now, if he would have brought up the Agrithiorum africanum might as well have been folklore as well. The Nandi bear is the Bigfoot of Africa. But if he would have went here, and maybe he knew. See, let me tell you guys something. People play games. People may say something on a channel or interview, but won't say it in a debate because it'll get checked. But in an interview, it goes unchecked. Right? Or just on his channel, it goes unchecked. The Nandi bear is folklore, my boys. You understand that? Straight up folklore. So, couple other questions that I asked him on the hot seat. That was when it got real. I asked him, because he said that the Bantu people were never scattered, they only migrated. So I asked him on a video, and hey, Loft, the water for keeping the $2 drive alive. Greatly appreciate you. And I talked to Christian Corey after this, and he said, man, you should have asked him which Ron Dalton is right. The Ron Dalton that said they weren't scattered in a prior video, because in tonight's debate, y'all, when he's looking at how the book says the Israelites will be scattered, he had to say, oh, they're, scattered doesn't have to mean like out of their land. They can get scattered within their land. What? We're going to do a review on all of that when we put this full debate out. Which Ron Dalton is correct? The Ron Dalton from October 6th in a debate with Deacon Genesis, where you said they weren't scattered, kinda, or the Ron Dalton from a few weeks ago that said the Bantu people were never scattered, only migrated? Which Ron is right? Will the real Ron please stand up? We also asked him, how could the Nile River, because he believes when we left Egypt, we didn't cross the Red Sea, we crossed the Nile River. But the Bible says in Exodus 14 that the Nile River drowned the whole army of Egyptians. Now, it's not about how deep the Nile River is. It's about how wide it is. Because if it's only a mile wide and they're crossing it, only a mile worth of their army would be swallowed up, while there's some in, out, and going into the Nile. Make it make sense. I asked him, are the Bantu people Northern Kingdom or Southern Kingdom? He didn't know. Oh, I'm going to give you guys one more because I don't want to give too much. I'll give you guys two more. I asked him. I asked him, the Bible says the Assyrians invaded the Israelites, the land of Israel. Do you agree? He said yes. I said, did the Assyrians invade? What proof do you have that the Assyrians invaded sub-Saharan Africa? You know what he said, everybody? Brennan Tawada for the super chat donation. Dope debate. That's right. Big G's, not the little ones. All praise to the Most High. He said, everybody, I want you guys to hold on to. He said that the Bantu people have some Assyrian DNA, traces of Assyrian DNA. That means that the Assyrians conquered sub-Saharan Africa.
Shut your black mouth.
Instead of me even challenging him to prove that, which I know he couldn't, just because you mix with people does not mean you have conquered the people. So I asked again, is there any historical? I had to really pigeonhole him on this one. This was good. Is there any historical or archaeological evidence that proves the Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Romans, or Greeks invaded sub-Saharan Africa? Yes or no? The answer was no. You got to have some integrity. At some point when you get pinned down like that, pause, you have to have some integrity, at least a little bit, and say, damn, you got me. You shot me. You shot me in the ass, Ray. The Water Barlos Rivers for the super chat donation. Greatly appreciate you. All praises. Debate over. Now, there was so much more that you guys are going to have to wait for. But look, he did his presentation too. You guys are going to have to look at his, I'm just telling my side and giving some of his rebuttal. But you guys are going to have to look at his presentation. He does have some scholarly work, but it just was not holding up to the title and proof of the argument and the debate topic. You understand? So there's so much more. I think I had 150 slides. He had probably the same amount. So you guys will see the angles in their approach, and you'll see how to rebut it. You'll see my approach. You'll see the hot seat exchange. You'll see all 3 rounds. You'll see opening and closing. You'll see who was sweating and who wasn't sweating. You'll see who was in good. Listen, there was one point in the debate. The water for the sub, greatly appreciate you.
Oh, you be with some steppers on.
There was one point in the debate where I just went and changed clothes because I was feeling like Superman, Clark Kent. I turned my screen off so nobody can see. I started with the all blue Genesis. I turned the screen off while he was speaking so nobody could see. Went and put the all red Genesis on. Feeling like Clark Kent, man. You understand that?
You gotta pop out and show
So,
niggas.
I'll give you guys one more question that I asked him during the hot seat exchange, right? During the hot seat rapid fire cross-examination, I asked him if he agrees that the Bible says the land of Edom is south of Israel. You got to wait a few weeks. But I asked him, does he agree with the Bible, Numbers chapter 34, that the land of Edom will be south of Israel? So I asked him, if the Bible says the land of Edom is south of Israel, where the hell is the land of Edom south of sub-Saharan Africa? I said, do you agree with the text? He said, no. Do you literally, verbatim, do you agree with Numbers chapter 34 that the Bible says Edom will be south of Israel? He said no.
You liar!
And it was at that point I just started trying new dunks. You know, off the glass, hand in the rim, baseline, free throw, lobs, jumping over his side. At that point, I just started trying new dunks. Yeah, we 30'd him. We did 30 him through the spirit and power of the Most High. We 30'd him. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious.
Crank it up!
People were in the chat like, Ron, get up. Ron, get up.
Crank it up!
He said he does not agree with the Bible. I said,
Say it again. Say something else. Oh! Say something else. Say something else, nigga.
so yeah, y'all. Like I said, it was over 3 hours. So I'm just giving you guys 2% of what went on. And I'm happy to say that Brother Ron Dalton took the discussion. A man of his status, it's an honor to have shared the ring with him. I'm talking like the nigga's dead, but he is kind of dead. I'm playing. Talking like the nigga's dead. Nah, it was an honor to, grace the debate ring with our brother Ron. I hope we could also possibly do something else. We are in talks. We are in talks about putting some major things together. We're in talks to put some major things together. Maybe I will give him a free scholarship to the Genesis Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics, and just show him where we get this information from. And not only where the academy is so important, because it's not just where we get the information, it's how you present it. Because remember, a organized lie always beats a disorganized truth. So let's say I didn't have it in order, but I had the truth, but I didn't have it in order. Then he would have came out with the W. But I'll let you guys be the judge. Somebody said the Atlas bear was native to Africa. Excuse me, I said I misspoke. Sub-Saharan Africa. The Atlas bear was never in Sub-Saharan Africa. Anyway, it was well moderated. Shout out to Christian Corey of God First Gang, the best moderator on the damn planet. Shout out to Christian Corey. Now, before I close out, is there any smoke in the chat about anything? Is there any smoke in the chat about anything?
Beat him down, beat you down. Who else wants some?
Who else wants some? Is there any smoke in the chat about anything before we get on up off of here? I don't think he did. What would the point be about Gopher Wood? What would that point be? What is the good news based on the gospel? Isaiah 61. Out of Christ's mouth, it says Luke 17, I believe. He mentions that the gospel is found in Isaiah 61. No, Israel is between the land of Phoenicia and Egypt, the Nile to the Euphrates. They think that's native to Israel. He could have brought it out. I could have missed it. Ron says he believes in the Bible. Luke 4. Vocab is live right now reviewing the debate. Shout out Vocab. Keep pushing this truth, my brother. I wonder if Vocab agrees with the rabbi that Gentiles are going to serve Israelites in the kingdom and be slaves in the kingdom. Can you explain the middle wall of partition? Well, those Gentiles are Israelites. And according to Ezekiel 11 and Isaiah 11, Israelites were divided when it came to the northern kingdom, and even Israelites who were not native to the land, or not living in the land or walking in Jewry. So the Lord is saying that we have this contention and division and envy toward Israelites outside the land that needs to be brought down so that they too now can receive Christ. All right, y'all. Well, I'm just channel now live saying shout out, brother Ron. But let's end this, everybody, by giving all praise. I'll have it here exclusively in a few weeks, maybe earlier, Lord's will. Let's end this by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, and we do so by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Until next time, y'all, peace, love, and shalom.